Okay, I have revised this probably 20 times at least. Recently I had to revise it because for some reason there was issues with people setting this off prematurely. This is only to be set off by the enemy. Um, Basically, this should be a skybridge access tower to our base. Only there would be many high exterior walls going around a base that would be behind this, and there would be a bridge going across from here to the house with twig, of course, so we could shoot that twig out if we were getting raided. But this is a kind of a backup plan. I would project this to be kind of a weak entrance point for the enemy to come into, and also a lot less doors to go through as the ant nest basically would not have to bottleneck through multiple doors to get into the house, making it a big pain in the ass to get from point A to point B. But the enemy might perceive this triangle over here as a cupboard room, something to that effect. I'd probably never put a cupboard in here because I would never really want anybody to be able to get access to this and use it against us. So therefore I'd probably put the cupboards out here, maybe one over here, maybe one over there, so that the overlap would go here and there, and then help with the overlap of our base. But basically, I'll explain this in a second. I had to make this triangle, and I'll show that to you in a minute, because if I was to put a landmine directly above our head on this, the one time or two times that this has been triggered, destroying 15 landmines that I used to have it into 3x3 was very expensive to repair, and it was a big pain in the ass to rebuild every time. But I fixed this by not necessarily putting a landmine directly on top of this, but you'll see here. Inside of that room, there's a twig. I guess you can't really hardly see it through this, barely. There's a twig pillar inside there. On top of that twig pillar is the landmine, and over there is a landmine on top of a twig triangle. And the idea here is that making it trigger so that you can't hit your head on it from below, I had to put it on top of the pillar so that if you break the ceiling tile out, the pillar breaks, blows the landmine up. What sucks is that pillar, the top of that pillar is just low enough that if that explosion happens, it's not high enough to damage or blow out the ceiling tile right above that. So I had to put a secondary, maybe, I don't know if it's because there's more boom going on here, or if the explosion is just a little bit higher, but either way, this is the only way I can get it to work with using the pillar idea, is to have that secondary one to blow up the one above it. And as you can see, there's one above that. There is one above that. And then I end it here because it's not necessarily really to go more than 3 to 4 floors with this build idea. Now this time I actually placed instead of placing the landmine in the center of the floor, I kind of placed it closer to the edge, hoping that the explosion would maybe take out these triangles too, so this would be something less for the enemy to use against us. And the reason why I have these triangles here is it helps to slow you down. If you do fall a little bit from the top, you won't fall all the way to your death without touching the ladder. You just kind of like knock you into the triangle, knock you back in the wall kind of a thing, and slow you down a little bit. So these are necessary to have here, but I don't want to make them permanent because they could possibly get used against us at some point. Anyway, let's trigger this thing. The idea here is that hopefully curiosity is the first thing to kill this. If not, a rocket going into this door, the splash damage would kill this, just to make it chain reaction to start. The only counter to this idea is if someone blows it up with C4 in this general area, the damage to that door blowing off is not enough to trigger that. Therefore, this is the only weakness to this whole entire idea. Other than if someone wants to quote-unquote maybe grief you some way or make this a big pain in the ass, if I have a ton of high exterior walls going around my base and there's only maybe one support foundation out here for the access ladder to be supported, then I would have to blow up every single high exterior wall between here and that foundation in the center to therefore build back to the point at which the tower is built, so that everything is connected properly and the support from the tower to the base is working correctly, because otherwise it'd be a big pain in the ass. I'd almost maybe come back and build some foundations around the bottom of that and upgrade them so that they, those foundations on the outside could support the building on the inside. But I would never put more walls on it because they could, jump, kind of get up on the outside, maybe above, maybe some building access area. But anyway, here she goes. So as you can see, we got a lot of smoke. We got a lot of twig bullshit going on here. All the ladders are gone. There are those twig triangles that I wasn't successful at blowing up. Maybe I could tighten them up a little bit closer to the wall. But one time this was triggered, I think someone claimed that they were just climbing the ladder when it blew up. So how you could blow it up through the wall, climbing a ladder, I don't know. I guess it could be possible. But there's my security measure.